This is the time we shed off our leaves like trees. Trees at a particular time shed off, especially at this time of dry season, shed off their leaves in order to regain their strength. It's like the tree going on retreat. And when it's shedding off its leaves, it sheds off its beauty. It sheds off its dignity. No flowers will remain on it. No green will remain on it. At times, somebody may mistake it to a dying tree. But if, in fact, the tree is gaining strength, gaining energy, the tree is struggling with the weather to make sure that it stays alive, to overcome the weather, to overcome the season, the times. This is the moment, especially when we consider what we are going through in our country, Nigeria. You understand that this season has a lot of value for us. When we need to shed off, like the trees, shed off our flamboyance, shed off our physical beauty, shed off the so-called dignity, allow ourselves to be humbled so that we may overcome this season like the tree, so that we may overcome these times in our country, Nigeria, like the tree. It's a very beautiful season, a season of grace that prepares us to be overcomers. This season is season of incubation, season of hibernation. When you see a hen incubating her eggs, you hardly see the hen outside. The hen is always inside. Her journeys are regulated. Her going about are regulated. Her interactions are regulated because she is incubating, because she is preparing to give life, because she is preparing for new life. You will see the hen. If you weigh the hen will weigh very light, very, very light, because she eats less food. Even if you give your hen food, she will not eat as much as before, because she is preparing for new life. It's a season of hibernation. There are few insects and creatures that hibernate. You know, snail. Snail hibernates. And when snail is hibernating, it seals up the entrance to its shell. The entrance to its shell is sealed up with something like zinc. It's roofed off. And it stays in there. Stays in there for weeks, preparing to overcome the seasons and the times. Another insect I can remember that hibernates is the caterpillar, and that is where transformation takes place. And the next time you see the caterpillar, it has been transformed into a beautiful butterfly. And without that moment of inactiveness, that moment of staying indoors, the caterpillar will not be transformed into a beautiful butterfly. It is a painful thing. It's not an easy thing to hibernate. No food, nothing. Serious inactiveness. They switch off from the world because they want a better life, a more mobile life, a more beautiful life. And when they come out again, they are out as beautiful butterflies. The scripture says, when you pray, you go into your house. Going into a house, locking your doors, locking your windows is nothing but privacy, because he's also thinking, the scripture, Jesus Christ is also thinking of incubation. You lock your doors, lock your windows. He's also thinking of hibernation. You lock your doors, you lock your windows. Journeys are cut short. No more journeys. No much leisure. No pleasure. No much pleasure. Even if pleasure could be cut to 0 point. That is what he means when he says, when you want to pray, you lock your doors, lock your windows, and speak to your Father who is in that secret place. You lock the doors of your heart. You lock the windows of your heart. You go into hibernation. You go into incubation and remain there with your Father for 40 days.